And this is a big announcement that has come in from the Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai, keeping in view the AQI levels and the pollution crisis in the national capital. The Delhi Environment Minister has now announced that from the 13th of this month till the 20th of this month, the odd and even formula will be back once again in the national capital. It will be implemented. So essentially this means on certain days you'll be allowed to use vehicles which have an odd number. On the other days, it will be vehicles with the even numbers. Let's also now bring in our colleague Akash, who's joining us on the broadcast. Akash, but Delhiites and citizens aren't very happy. This is something that had been discussed for a while. Many citizens are saying that why should they pay the price if the government is unable to find a long-term solution?
Exactly, and people then raise questions on public transport, on the number of buses in the national capital and all other measures. You see, whenever it is about air pollution, so Delhi government and in fact all the governments in the NCR region, come forward and say that, we are implementing this sort of step. We are now checking PUC and, we will be imposing fines and challans. But when it is about normal days in the year, no agency, is up to the kind of work that they should do. And this is the reason why when government is now announcing, odd even scheme, people will not be happy. But yes, this is something very latest. Recent update that the Environment Minister of Delhi has announced the odd even scheme that will be implemented in the national capital. In fact, from 13th November to 20th November, this odd even formula will be implemented, where a special meeting is called for tomorrow, where the whole process, how they are going to implement the particular scheme, this will be discussed. So this is an important step. In fact, Ridhima, this is important in the backdrop that the fourth stage of graded response action plan has been implemented in the national capital, and we know that more stringent actions will be taken because of the kind of air quality index that we are seeing in the national capital. In fact, in many areas, this AQI is going beyond 450, which is very dangerous to even healthy people. We are not considering those who have some sort of disease, but even to healthy people, this is very dangerous. And this is the reason why this was somewhere the need of the hour. But on the other hand, people will be, facing several sort of problems as well. But it will be interesting to see as to what will be the kind of implementation, because tomorrow we are going to have this important meeting, which in fact Gopal Rai has announced just a few minutes back that tomorrow he has called this special meeting where this would be discussed as to how they have to implement this odd even formula in the national capital.
So Akash, as you're rightly pointing out, this will be a crucial meeting to watch out tomorrow, but the word that's coming in from the Delhi Environment Minister is that yes, from 13th to 20th, odd and even will make a comeback. Other than that, also talk to us about the various other measures that have been taken. GRAP 4 is already in place. So what are the kind of restrictions that we're seeing in Delhi?
As far as restrictions are concerned, so we know that construction activities are not allowed at all. In fact, the schools are not just primary schools, but secondary schools are also closed now. Classes from 6th to 10th, in fact 11th and 12th will be closed as well. This is what Environment Minister has announced recently. Other than that, there is a ban on C&D waste. In fact, the transportation of C&D waste. We know that how gensets are not allowed. In fact, in the first and second stage only, these were banned, and several other measures. For example, BS4 diesel vehicles are not allowed. You cannot come with trucks in the national capital. There is some sort of restriction on that as well. We have several sort of teams. Enforcement department of the transport department is working on this particular step, and then some sort of other measures as well. As of now, the whole focus is on air quality index, because it is going beyond 400. This is the reason why there are a couple of steps that in fact have been suggested by CAQM that have been implemented in the national capital, Ridhima.
Okay, Akash, we'll just request you to stay on with us. We in fact also have our colleague Anshul now joining us on the broadcast. So Anshul, the Delhi government announcing a whole host of measures, odd and even to also make a comeback. But what is the ground situation like? You've been reporting from various areas. Has there been any sort of improvement as far as the AQI levels are concerned?
So yes, if you look at the AQI levels that has been in fact affecting the national capital over the last 4 days, the AQI has constantly remained in the severe category, which means that the AQI in the national capital has not gone below the 300 mark. In fact, has been above the 400 mark over the past 4 days itself, and over the next few days it is expected that the AQI will remain the same, and hence these measures that we are seeing that is being taken by the Delhi government are being put in place at this point in time, because it is expected that post Diwali as well, when the entire North India will be celebrating Diwali and there will be bursting of crackers that will be happening, although not in the national capital region but in parts of North India, that pollution is also supposed to come and get collected over here in the national capital. This is what the government is expecting, and hence these preventive measures are being taken at this point in time, because the kind of situation that has developed in the national capital is definitely a health emergency, and hence these measures that are being put in place are actually very, very serious in nature, and actually tells us about how serious this entire issue of pollution is. Although over the past 1 month itself, measures of GRAP 2 have already been implemented in the national capital, but yes, we have seen absolutely zero to no effect that it had on the pollution levels. In fact, even after GRAP 2 and GRAP 3 stages were implemented out here in the national capital, the pollution level continued to increase. And from today, the GRAP 4 has also been implemented, but yes, we are still seeing absolutely no improvement in the air quality out here in the national capital. Today as well, the AQI is above the 400 mark, and it is going to remain so over the coming few days as well. But yes, the announcements that have come in from the Delhi government actually tells us how serious this entire problem is, because the schools of students from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 11th class students have also been closed and have been asked to shift to online mode, whereas people who are working in private and government companies, government has also suggested these companies to shift to a work from home model. We saw that how this work from home model was an absolute success during the pandemic as well. But yes, the Delhi government is expecting that with these measures, the number of vehicles that are plying on the road, they will come down, which would eventually mean that the pollutants that are given out from these vehicles into the atmosphere of the national capital, that would come down. But yes, it remains to be seen if at all this will have any sort of effect, because the main sources of pollution.
That is the big question that we'd like to ask the people who are watching this broadcast at the moment. I would request both my colleagues Anshul and Akash to stay with us. I'm Griha Atul Siddiqui. I'm taking the broadcast forward, and we are staying with this all important story that concerns everybody who stays in Delhi NCR because of the worsening air quality. This is the Delhi government going back to its odd even formula because the pollution is likely to go up post Diwali. Now this odd even has been announced from the 13th of November to the 20th of November, and this will be implemented in the national capital. This announcement has been made by the Delhi Environment Minister, Mr. Gopal Rai. What I'm going to do is go back to my colleague Akash, who's also with us on the broadcast. Akash, the fact that this implementation has been only announced after Diwali, are they being considerate of the fact that there is a festival, although Diwali is the root cause, when they are not able to control the crackers and everything else which adds to the pollution?
So there was no mention as such, but definitely, Griha, it is an important step, because when we talk about the measures that are generally undertaken under the last stage of graded response action plan, so odd and even schemes are very much there. In fact, as of now, if I can ask Naveen ji to just zoom.
Okay.
This is 446 level, the air quality index of Anand Vihar area, and we are very close to this particular area, and this is not just limited to Anand Vihar. When we talk about other areas in central Delhi, so we have similar figures.